Good morning, welcome to Planet Mojo. This morning, I'm going to do the first training of my apple trees to the Espalier fence. Okay, this right here is that way so that I could get the wires in here. I have to take that off first. What I want is I want to pull this way until it's right at the wire. I don't want to just let this sit on the wire. Well, let's try that first. Let it sit on the wire. It all depends on where the tree actually is. So let's get this pulled out and see where we're starting at. And then what I'm gonna do is push it one way and pull it the other. Well, actually pull it both ways until it's right along the wire. All right, this is the only thing I have to cut this. Not gonna do the best job. Okay, that's not bad at all. All right, so what I'm gonna do is go on this other side and gently pull that over that way. Well, actually, I could probably just tie this. I have rubber ties here. Just tie this one. Yeah, I might be able to tie both of these. What I don't want to do is, like if it was way over here, I don't want to pull the wire way over to the tree. I want the tree pulled over to the wire, but it looks like I'm not going to have to do that. Let me get this cut and we'll see how it looks when I tie this to the wire. Thought I had my razor knife with me. These Felco pruners are not the best for cutting string or rubber ties. Yeah, it looks like this one right here is going to be perfect to go onto the wire right here. I don't want to mess it up with this tie. That'll work. And then it looks like this one right here will work for the one on the other side. This one is actually going to have to be pulled down, and this one, I believe, is going to be better. This is my first time with Espalier. I believe that's how you pronounce it. Well, I believe you pronounce it with a French accent, but I'm not going to do that. This is my first time with this, but I've been pruning apple trees for many, many years, and I've owned a vineyard for many years, so I know how to prune, but I've never done this before. Now, I got to get rid of a couple branches. I don't know how many to take off right away. None of these really belong, or the vast majority of them don't belong, but you don't want to take them all off at once. So I think I'm going to take the larger ones off. Yeah, that'll be a good start. I'll take maybe 5 little branches off, and then we'll call it a day, and I'll come back and take some more off. Maybe a month from now. I'm going to do a little reading up on the system. Maybe you can do more than that right away, but I really don't feel comfortable taking off more than that right away. Okay. Yeah, you just hate to take these off. And like with grapevines, you want to take them off right at the trunk so that they're not as likely to grow back right away. That's 2. That's 3. And I think I'm just going to take off all of this stuff down below the first wire. Including this big guy. Oh, you know what? Alright. I probably should have kept one of those. We'll have to see if it throws another bud or two. This one right here, and it's damaged where the other bud would be, are the 2 most likely ones, and neither one of them has any kind of branching going on yet. I guess we'll just have to wait and see on that stuff. Yeah, I'm not going to take one of these and go down, and I don't want to take one way down here and go up. So that is what it is. Alright. And I think I'm actually going to take one more off. The top is going into a V. I'll take that side branch off, or 2 of the side branches. This one right here. And where is the top of the tree? Looks like this right here. Alright. We'll just take all of this nonsense off. And that is the new top. Okay. And what tree is this? This is the Freedom apple. Okay, this is year 1 for the Freedom apple tree. This is probably the most that is like a stick. Like this originated from a water shoot out of all the trees that I planted recently. Well, actually, the Camas pear and the Bing were just actual sticks when I planted those. But out of the apple trees, yeah, this one, I'm going to have to put a guy wire going down that way from here somewhere over to here, watching out for these buds because, again, I have nothing to go onto the bottom wire. Something will probably pop out of these if I prune it up here, which I will. This is the Wolf River, which was discovered here in Wisconsin, somewhere near where my family has a bunch of my family has places along the Wolf River at a place called the Triangle. So that's kind of cool. All right, so like I said, I'm going to pull it this way a little bit, and then you could see that that pulls the top way over that way. I'm going to pull the top back that way and try to straighten it out. Yeah, this one goes all the way up, and it looks like I can train both of those top ones onto the wire. We'll see. I got to get rid of this stuff though. I'll get rid of all 3 of these bigger branches and some of the smaller ones. Like the other one, I don't want to go too far. All right, we'll get some twine and put some guy wires on this. Luckily, it needs to go this way and that way, and I don't have them coming out into the orchard itself because they would be a trip hazard. Yeah, this one's going to definitely be a bit more tricky. All right, what I'm going to do is tie this up here nice and tight, Got my razor knife. And I'm going to hook my string onto that. So let me get my string. I went and got some yellow string. I was using sisal before, and you can't really see that, so switch to something that we can see. Okay, that's going to work perfect. And hopefully these guy wires don't have to remain on that long. I'll probably make some fabric loops for when I do this in the future, but this green rubber stuff, these green rubber ties, work really well without damaging the plant. Okay, you could see that this is as straight as it's going to get now, and then it veers off this way. So now I'm going to pull this way, and then we'll prune off some of this extraneous stuff. Okay, here's the part I've been worried about. Do I take this one and bend it this way, and how much can you bend it before it's just going to snap off right at the stem? I know about what I can do on a grapevine. Yeah, see, that's fairly stiff. And I mean, if I break it, it should send a new shoot out, but I don't know that for sure. You never know that for sure. And it may be next year. I'd like to get at least some of these onto the wire this year. Not sure if this one will make it onto either one of these wires. Yeah, just nothing real close. Except for these two, but I'm scared. All right, and then got another problem. If I tie this onto the wire and this breaks and it jumps over this way, will that snap it? Well, one thing I know for sure is that I can get rid of this one, and this one. Let's do that real quick to warm up, and then we'll try getting these to the wire. Right there. Right there. Right there. And right there. This is not exactly the best time of the year to be pruning. It's already into June, and normally I do all my pruning before there's any leaves on the tree, but this is a special case, and next year it may be similar, but not as bad. When I get the new trees like this, the bare root trees, sometimes they have a couple leaves on them, but they're never fully leaved out like this. Okay, I can actually train one of these up and over as well, I believe. Yeah, let's try them top ones. This is a bit too woody for this, and I think I have a much better idea. If I just prune this right here, and then get rid of that one altogether, and this one altogether, I will get rid of these other ones as well, but not right now. Now, this little stem right here is the apical meristem. It's the topmost growing structure of the tree. This should send a bud out either way, one right at this leaf and one right at this leaf. If not there, possibly at these leaves below it. And while those are nice and tender, I'll train those to the wire. Looks like, yeah, it could use a little moving this way. I don't want to pull it over that way by a tender new growth, but we'll deal with that when we get to it. So there is nothing else that's ready to go here. I'm going to leave everything else alone, and I will revisit this in, maybe a couple weeks. I don't know. We'll see. But I'm going to watch this. I'm going to take a look at it every day, and if I see a bud shooting out right near the wire somewhere, like if we have a new bud right here, which very well could happen, I'll make sure that I get to it and train it onto the wire while it's real nice and soft like this. It doesn't take very long for it to harden up, and once it does harden up, it's very likely to snap off right at the collar there. Yeah, a lot like grapevines. Later on in the year, it won't snap off like that because it'll get all lignified, it'll get all woody, but then they're not flexible. You're not going to be able to bend that over onto the wire without having a really strong wire, and I don't want to do that. Okay, now I'm going to drip irrigate these. The ground is damp here because I had the sprinkler in here yesterday, but it's definitely not watering these plants 100%. We've been having a drought lately, and when you have new trees like this, if you don't have an inch of natural water per week, you're going to need to water them. And it's best to slow water them. So I'm going to be doing my redneck drip irrigation on these, which I'll show you in just a second. And that's going to wrap it up for the initial pruning and training to the wire of my apple trees to the Espalier apple fence. Yeah, that looks really good. Okay, I have all of my drip irrigation in place. Now we'll do a quick tag check just for future reference. The very first one up in the corner there is a sweet cherry, Bing cherry. This is a camas pear, dwarf camas pear. This one, I believe, is a Potomac pear, or Potomac. Yep, Potomac pear. And this one is a tart cherry. It is North Star. And then we have our difficult to prune but looking good Wolf River. There's a tag right there. And this one right here is Freedom. These are both dwarf apples. Okay, the next video you will see on these trees will be any training I do to the wire. So if and when that happens this year, I'll get some video of it. But you'll be seeing both of these trees in videos of me doing the rest of the orchard here. I'm going to be planting buffalo grass in the entire orchard, except for under the trees. I'm going to be planting sedges under there. I want it to be a no maintenance orchard. or a low maintenance. I have to prune everything, so that's a bit of maintenance right there. So if you want to see any of that, make sure you subscribe and click on the update icon. If you have any questions or comments, make sure you put them in the comment section below. And if you share the video and or give it a like, it helps the channel out greatly. Thanks for watching and have a great day.